I also want to deal with the role of the middle class in Baroque Northern Europe. Now, we've dealt with this off and on throughout the first half of this semester, and we're going to continue to deal with it. Now, widespread prosperity meant that there were more art patrons. Art tended to cater to the tastes of a middle-class audience. And everyone really starts to collect and commission art. Now, this new middle class wants a way to brag about their success and new social status. They bought furniture, paintings, tapestry, and porcelain. Small, low-key works such as portraits, still life, genre scenes, and landscapes are really common. And there are records of their spending, and it's considerable how much they're spending on these various pieces. An individual earning between 1,500 and 3,000 guilders a year would have been living very comfortably. 1,000 guilders, for example, would have bought a house. And this was a significant amount of money, and they would spend a significant amount of that on the arts. Now, most art was very affordable. Prints were extremely cheap because artists made a lot of them. And we see a lot of interior and genre scenes. These tend to be very inexpensive, both prints and paintings. Whereas smaller landscapes tend to be a little more expensive. How expensive? 3 to 4 guilders, so quite inexpensive. And portraits would be the most costly form. Now, Dutch artists are producing most of their paintings without having a commission first. This is going to be the rise of the gallery system. This is why artists start to sign their pieces. When all you're doing is massive murals and commissioned works, well, the person who owns it knows who it's by. And you're not going to get a big public audience necessarily. But when you're doing small pieces for sale, you need galleries to act as middlemen, and you're going to need to start signing your work. So they're going to sell through dealers, through exhibitions, fairs, auctions, and in some cases, even lotteries. Some painters will begin to limit their practice to portraits, still lifes, or landscapes, something that we haven't seen in the past. A lot of artists kind of jump between forms as necessary. And artists do not always sell their own work. Sometimes they use the work to pay off debts or pay off loans, and this is where we get a lot of pieces flowing through inns, because the innkeeper would frequently take a piece of art in exchange for a room for the night. It's not unheard of at the time. It sounds unusual today, but then barter systems sound unusual to us today. Now, this is the beginning of the institutions of today's open art market, where dealers, galleries, auctions, and estate sales owe their establishment to the emergence of the 17th century art market and the development of a prosperous middle class throughout Northern Europe.